back to RoxomTV. If this is your first time seeing my face on RoxomTV, because today is very special, is actually going live on both RoxomTV for the first time. So you can see my face on RoxomTV Twitter, on RoxomTV YouTube, and also it's going to link to my YouTube channel, so GemGem Crypto. So welcome. I'm going to do this show Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hong Kong time. So that means going to be 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to see my face first thing in the morning, make sure you hit the subscribe button to both RoxomTV and also my GemGem Crypto YouTube channel. So really appreciate that. So what we're going to do here, of course, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. And if this is your first time watching my show, I always love doing my show, opening my show with a little bit of chart analysis. So here we go. Let me share my screen. Yeah, there you go. So what's going on here with Bitcoin? We're sitting at 112K. We are on the hourly chart. Today I do want to start with the hourly chart, and then we'll slowly move on to the weekly, just so we can get the short-term analysis and also look at where BTC is going on a more long-term perspective. All right, so on the hourly chart, we can see that okay, Bitcoin is basically consolidating inside this rectangle that I drew. So we have 107K to 113K. The reason why this is so important is because, okay, we saw that Bitcoin basically has been bouncing within this box. Okay, we have been on an uptrend. However, this could be just noise. You could be like, okay, Jeremy, why are you being so bearish? Well, because first of all, 113K, I do see like the major resistance. We have been consolidating since 25th of August, like whenever we touch this box, like once, twice, almost touch here 3 times and then 4 times, and then boom, we got rejected and bounced back off. So 113K is a level I'm eyeing very closely. So on the hourly side of things, so I'm talking about the future few hours or maybe the future next few days, short time frame. Basically, I do expect that, okay, there's 2 scenarios. If you guys do like to trade short term, because I know there are a lot of degens watching my channel and also, well, Roxom not so much, but of course there are degens everywhere, right? Okay, so how do I get the price target if I want to trade? So obviously, if we broke the resistance of 113K, like you just like take the rectangle, the length of the rectangle, and then we go to the breakout point. So we'll get 119K. However, I do lean toward the bearish side. That's scenario number 2 on the coming hours or even the coming days that would happen. So if, however, we lose the support line of 107K, so let's say things go south, then I won't be surprised that we'll go back down to like 101K. Why would I say this? Okay, before we got so scared, let's hop onto the Bitcoin monthly return. Well, for those of you, if you think my screen is too small, please talk to me, chat, and please talk to me and let me know so I can fix that. Okay, I'm not going live on my Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, I can see that on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure about Twitter, but if my Twitter doesn't work, I can let it slip this time. Just focus on Roxom for now. All right, so I think my GemGem Crypto YouTube is live, but please let me know. All right, so let's go back to the Bitcoin monthly returns. So we are in September right now. We are towards the middle of September. The reason why I was a little bit more on the bearish side, because August and September tend not to be the strongest month for Bitcoin. That's what I said in the beginning of August. Like, okay, I told my community that August, we're going to end up with a dip. So looks like we're right. Although there's some contradicting data because we made a new all-time high in August. We reached 124K for Bitcoin. But also towards the end, we saw, we know the history, like we dipped 6% on the month of August. So September hasn't been the strongest month for BTC as well. So 8 months out of 12 months, we end up with a dip, like a negative red month for Bitcoin BTC return. So this is another reason, like this is one reason that I kind of lean toward to the bearish side. Of course, if we lose the support of 107K. So that's on the hourly. So I'm talking about the short term for the degen or the traders out there. Let's also hop on to the daily time frame so we can have like a look at things at a bigger picture. All right, so as we go on the daily, you can see that, okay. All right. Bitcoin has been doing, bouncing off this support line of 107K really nicely. We are on a tiny rally here. However, if you look at the bigger picture, the daily time frame, we are also in a downtrend. Okay, so we on a downtrend from 1 to 4, so 124K. So that is another reason that it's good to look at more data and come up with a more comprehensive analysis. All right, so that's on the daily. If we, well, let's say 100, okay, what was I? All right, so, sorry. All right, because I was reading something else. All right, so that's on the daily. Let's hop on to the weekly chart. For the weekly chart, I do like to pull out the, first of all, the 50-week moving average. That's very important. Second of all is the bull market support band. The reason why I do like to, okay, first, let's remove the rectangle so it doesn't confuse ourselves. Okay, so we can see the bull market support band is widening. You can see the gap is getting bigger here, right? So I won't be surprised that Bitcoin would be like, of course, like trade within, we are already technically trading within the gap. We could look at things like what we happen in February, late February, and also the beginning of March. So Bitcoin actually dipped below the bull market support band. So we went below this gap. So the scenario that I have right now, so first is whether we're gonna just stay inside this gap. Scenario number one. Next scenario number two, which is a little bit more bearish, is the 50-week moving average. So does it mean, so we're gonna, okay, if we lose the bull market band, does it mean we're gonna go to the 50-week moving average? Right now is at 96K, like close to 97K. And people are going to be really concerned, okay, Jeremy is never going to get down to such a low level. However, that's what it happened back in April. And I would say like a weekly candle wicking down and touching that 50-week moving average is not that concerning, as long as we don't close below the 50-week moving average or have a consistent, like another second weekly candle close below, then we are all right. So if we end up touching the 50-week moving average, just like week below, I'll be extremely happy because that means Bitcoin will be at 100K. Like who wouldn't want Bitcoin at 100K? And another reason that I won't be too concerned. Okay, so 50-week moving average is at $96,000 right now, but I don't think we're gonna dip if we end up have a correction. I don't think we're gonna go straight to the 50-week. like tomorrow or in the coming days. And the scenario is that the 50-week going to close, like slightly catch up and get closer to where Bitcoin currently is. So if that happens, okay, if we dip below the or week below the 50-week, maybe we're at 100K. So that kind of align with the in the beginning of show, I mentioned the hourly chart. So that's kind of aligned with the hourly chart as well. If we, that was saying if we lose 107K as a support level, but bearish or not, like having a bigger correction or like a pump, because like nothing set in stone. Remember, okay, I like to like a pattern because I like numbers, and I like to tell my audience what I see, whether they like it or not. Okay, because September hasn't been the strongest month for Bitcoin return. I just like to give you guys the number, and you guys can come to a conclusion. I'm leaning more towards the bearish side. However, that depends on what Jerome Powell going to do in the Fed meeting. So we have the Fed meeting between 17th to 18th of September, which is next week. And then people are eyeing that there will be like whether a 50 basis point cut or 25 basis point cut. I don't know, but like going back to the chart, if we have like a 25 basis point cut, I think the market is just going to be neutral at best, or even more like a dip, like buy the rumor, sell the news event type of event. So if we end up getting a 50 basis point, that will be like extremely bullish for the market. Like the market going to be very happy to what they saw. So I do think that a lot of that had been priced in, especially from the Jackson Hole event that we saw. So that's for BTC. As for ETH, well, look at that. Like Ethereum is on a very critical level against BTC. This is a resistance that I drew like weeks ago, by the way. So 0.04, and we got rejected very nicely for Ethereum. The reason why I wasn't surprised, okay, first of all, this is like a V-shaped recovery, which is very nice. I like, I'm very proud of Ethereum, what they're doing here. Okay, so 0.04 is a major resistance because the fact that we have been trading below 0.04 for almost a year, like once we get to this level, we are almost certain to see some correction, to see some bounce back to where we were, and this is for 0.04, and now the critical level is 0.05. Like throughout almost the entire bull market in 2021, Ethereum was trading above 0.05 for almost 3 years. So we are here on the weekly chart. That means 987 days. Ethereum has been trading above this level. So if Ethereum managed to get to 0.05, I do expect that there will be some correction there as well. Another reason why Ethereum is bleeding against BTC is that, okay, let's now take a look at the ETF. All right, so we are on the swap Bitcoin ETF, USD value. Okay, things are a little bit contradicting. These past 2 days are doing all right. However, on 5th and also on 4th of September, we see a little bit of blood. Okay, things are still okay, because if you zoom out and look at, okay, since 29th of August, there's like still a positive inflow of $488 million for BTC. However, the same can't be said on Ethereum, because like, okay, there you go. So for spot ETH ETF, there's like a negative outflow since, let's take a look at this metric. So 29th of August, there is a combined of $1 billion outflow for ETH ETF. So that, again, kind of explain why ETH has been bleeding against Bitcoin. All right, so that's for the trader out there. Next, I do want to hop on to the more macro side of things, as I like to look at the macro, and that has a direct impact on what the Fed going to do. All right, let's talk about the job market, because the job market is showing sign of weakness and is a little bit concerning. We are here on the unemployment rate. We're sitting at 4.3%. Obviously, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that we are on an uptrend for the unemployment rate. People are very concerned. And also, if you hop over to the non-farm payrolls, okay, so every single month, I mean, since May, we only added like below 100,000 jobs every single month. You could be like, okay, Jamie, how do you read this data? Wait, what do these numbers even mean? All right, so usually between 150,000 jobs to 200,000 jobs being added in a month, that means we are in a healthy job market. However, below 100,000 jobs being added to the market, that's a little bit concerning. And that's what we're seeing for 4 consecutive. And June, we have a negative number, like a revision. So 13,000 negative. This is why Donald Trump was so pissed and want to fire someone. And that's another reason why that the Fed is now coming in and saying that, okay, yeah, looks like inflation is under control. Maybe it's time to focus a little bit more on the job market. And as for inflation, like 1 year, we're sitting at 2.7%, which is, I would say, is doing all right. It's taking up partially because of tariffs, for sure. There are some like metrics to look at because, again, the R word is on the table. If you don't know what the R word is, it stands for recession. I know, like, okay, Jamie, I've been talking about recession since 2022. However, the thing is, back in 2022, they actually came out and changed the definition of inflation. So technically speaking, 2 consecutive quarters with a negative GDP, we are already in a recession. But back in 2022, they changed the rule. Because the White House argued that even the GDP doesn't look that great, the job market is still very strong, which is fair. However, like this cycle, this year in particularly, is very difficult. It's very difficult to determine. There are key metrics to watch for recession. So first is GDP. GDP is actually like all right for the just the quarter that we had. Still have a positive number. Unemployment rate, however, is taking up. We are on the 5-year trend. But if we zoom out, like unemployment rate is actually like not too bad. It's not like very concerning, if you ask me. But if you zoom closer, of course, we're on an uptrend. So the Fed now has to decide whether they will save the job market, the unemployment rate going up, or also the inflation rate has been going up. So the lowest we got in the past year is 2.3%. Right now it's 2.7% on the CPI report. So again, the Fed has a dual mandate. They try to have a healthy job market and also try to control inflation to 2%. However, like as we know, most of the inflation that we are sitting at 2.7% is caused by tariffs, a little bit caused by tariffs. The reason why I say this is we can actually look at the PPI number. It's quite controversial when I say this, but I'm just saying what I see. I think the data speaks itself. All right, so we have taken inflation, but a weakening job market. But the Fed has a dual mandate, so they have to save at least one of them. Like you can't crash the market, right? So people are saying, okay, Jerome Powell for sure going to cut rates. But whether it's 50 basis point or 25 basis point, we don't know. We're going to know that in on 18th of September. So right now, 82% of people predict that there will be a 25 basis point cut. And then 15% of people think that there will be a 50 basis point cut. Let me know in the chat if you guys think we're going to get a 50 basis point. Since that I talk about recession, should we be like, okay, should we be concerned or happy because there'll be more rate cuts? All right, so it's a little bit contradicting, and I think rate cuts is preventive. Certainly, the Fed gonna cut a lot, especially in the coming months. The reason why I say this, okay, we have a really weak job market right now. So we kind of have to do it. And then another reason is that the inflation that caused a few years ago, like we almost reached like double-digit inflation, was caused by fiscal dominance. So it wasn't so much about individuals buying houses, like baby boomers buying houses and borrow money from the banks, but it was mostly because the government's printing money. So when the government's printed money, they have to pay the interest on debt. And if they don't lower rates, like paying just like that interest on debt, going to cost like trillions of dollars every single year from the for the US government. So they kind of forced to cut rates. So, and another reason is that, okay, job market is weakening. The Fed kind of view this, okay, maybe we are on an early sign of recession. So they try to prevent actually getting into recession. So yeah, we're going to have multiple rate cuts. If there are more rate cuts, that means like cheaper to borrow money, more liquidity in the market. And that's always going to be beneficial for stocks and crypto, so-called risk on asset. All right, since there are contradicting data from the Fed, look at gold. Like gold is reaching its new all-time high. Gold right now sitting at 3,600, $36.84 an ounce. This is the highest level on record. So we are on the yearly. Let's look at a 5-year. Okay, 5-year is an amazing chart. What about zoom out to all time, all the way since back into 1980s? Like this is a beautiful rally on the gold price. All right, so the reason why gold broke new all-time high is because, okay, rate cuts, that means we're going to have a weaker US dollar, and which we have, because if we look at DXY is on a downtrend. And then investors like to seek a safe haven asset because, okay, there might be recession is on the table again. And also there's an ongoing geopolitical tension. So people like to flock to gold because it's been proven by centuries that it's a safe haven asset. So that's the case. And JP Morgan did say that gold could potentially hit $4,000 by mid-2026. So we'll see about that. Let me know in the chat if you guys hold any gold. And yeah, let's move on to the next piece of news. So what we've got here, new bill HR 5166 introduced by Congress directing the US Treasury to plan to custodian for the strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. All right, so I do see some confusion on X. What is Bitcoin stockpile and also what is strategic Bitcoin reserve? All right, so I do give some simple explanation just to give you guys some context. So Bitcoin stockpile, think of it like a government's lost and found drawer. When law enforcement seizes Bitcoin from criminals like hackers or drug traffickers, it goes into government custody. They can later choose to sell it for dollars or use it some other way. It's flexible. It's not meant to be permanent. However, strategic Bitcoin's reserve is more like a digital version of Fort Knox. instead of holding gold bars, the government would keep Bitcoin as a long-term national reserve asset. The key difference is that the reserve is not meant to be sold off for short-term cash. It's safe to protect the country's financial stability in the case of US dollar loses value or global conditions change. So in other words, it's like emergency saving account, like you never touch unless there's something really, really bad happen. So that's why we're eyeing towards the strategic Bitcoin reserve. If that were to pass, that would be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. But just to be thoughtful, I know a lot of people watching this channel, especially maybe GemGem Crypto, you guys may not from the US, myself included, I'm not from the US, but I do a lot of research. So I can give you guys some of the context, like how the US laws get passed. So when you hear something like this, like HL 5166 from the House, and also stuff like this, okay, like White House and Senate passing these laws, like how does it work? Like how does it happen? Okay, so first of all, how a bill is introduced, like a member of the House of Representatives or Senate writes a proposal called a bill. Example would be this one. So the HR 5166 is a House bill about studying US Bitcoin reserve. And then the bill is sent to a committee of lawmakers who specialize in that topic, whether it's finance or technology, etc. They debate, hold hearings, and can make changes. And then next, they're going to have to vote in Congress. So both the House and the Senate must pass a bill, usually like some back and forth, some adjustments. So once both chambers agree, the bill goes to the president, and the president can sign it into a law or veto it. That's called the executive order. So separate from the law, the president can issue an executive order which tells government agencies to act within existing legal powers. Example is actually back in March this year. So President Trump signed an executive order to create the strategic Bitcoin reserve using seized BTC. But here's the catch. New president can undo an executive order more easily than Congress can repeal a law. That's why some lawmakers want to pass a permanent law, just like the one we have, HR 5166 or the Senate bill, or it's not here, or the Senate bill S954 to lock in the reserve. So the update right now, like as I mentioned, on March, Donald Trump signed the executive order, and then in April we have the Treasury completed the audits of government-held digital assets. Right now, Representative introduced the HR 5166 and also the Senate bill to basically a proposal for transparency and also the structure. And we have news like this, like the White House crypto advisor, Patrick Witt, says a Bitcoin reserve and the crypto market rules are a top priority. So we've been saying that for months. What is holding us back? Like I touched upon this a little bit, like executive order could vanish with a new president. So we would like to see bills like this to get passed. And in the meanwhile, we do need to have like regulations set in stone, and also security. Like we need airtight custody and cybersecurity and legal rules. That's very important, because like the last thing we want is to have a bunch of hackers. And we're going to talk about hacking, like hackers from North Korea. That's super annoying, because I've been hacked recently and I could really feel the pain about cybersecurity. But we're going to talk about that in a moment. If the US passed this law, I do expect that we're going to have a domino effect on other countries. So El Salvador already have 6,000 BTC. Bhutan has like 13,000 BTC already hold. Japan, UAE, Singapore, Switzerland, Brazil, or even China, because the number one country that holds the most BTC on the balance sheet is the US. The second one is actually China. The official number from the Chinese government is close to 200,000 BTC. That is the official number, but I do suspect there will be more BTC held from the Chinese government, because that's just how Chinese work. But yeah, anyways, like I'm very bullish and I'll be extremely happy if this law will get passed. Obviously, time will tell. Let me know in the chat, guys. Like, do you think the bill will get passed in, I don't know, this year, 2025, or next year? All right, moving on. Let's talk about North Korea. What they have been doing. So, North Korea hackers is really a thing, especially in the crypto world. They are among the most sophisticated state-sponsored cyber actors in the world. They are not like lone wolves. They are trained operatives and often educated in places like Kim Il-sung University or some programs in China, actually. And then they have a really famous group called Lazarus Group. What they do is basically they hack into very established companies and also like crypto exchanges. And this is just like one of the really famous group. So there are others, so APT 37. So this one is ATP 38. And then the newer one called Moonstone Fleet. Yeah, so the mission actually started back in 2007, but they kind of shifted focus to, like right now, they're shifting the focus to get more money. So far, they hacked like more than $2 billion from all these like hacking. They target governments, defense contractors, and tech firms for secret. And really famous hack that they did was the Sony picture. And then there were kind of a revenge movie called The Interview. It's on Netflix. It's like one of my favorite movies. But anyways, so these North Korean hackers usually operate abroad like China or Russia for better infrastructure and cover. And groups like this, it's actually like linked to more than 1,000 global incidents. Like they usually hit banks, crypto exchanges, hospital, and even NASA. Enforcement is tough because like these people are from North Korea, and North Korea is extremely isolated. So the hackers are very well protected by their own government. So yeah, be very careful. These hackers are extremely patient. They're well trained. They're funded by the state. So how they usually breach into systems is through, first of all, like phishing emails and fake recruiters, fake job interviews. Some of my friends have personally come across scams like this. So the person reached out to my friend on LinkedIn and pretending to be someone from Coinbase, and then he clicked into the link. So he basically, long story short, he clicked into the link. While it looks like the Coinbase interface, he connected his wallet, and 100K being drained from his MetaMask. So be very careful. Like even some of my friends, they are very like crypto veteran. They still get scammed like this. Like, myself included, I actually got scammed like 2 weeks ago. Is my first hack throughout my entire crypto history of like 4.5 years. So that's extremely painful. So be very careful with the links that you click and also the person you're talking to. There are actually a lot of cases that crypto projects would hire North Korean by mistake, because we all know how crypto projects work. We just need, like, we all work remotely in front of our laptop. And then what is happening right now is that crypto projects would hire someone, because again, they do interview online, they show their face, but most often than not, you just like turn on your laptop and work wherever you want, and end up hiring some North Korean. And then if those North Korean are like end up being the employee of the project, they're gonna know a lot of information, right? So that's another way of how these like North Korean hacking into the system. There's also like a recent one. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. So it's the NPM attack. It's directly targeting JavaScript. So EVM chain. There was like so much FUD going on yesterday. I talked about that with Fernando in yesterday's stream. Though the amount being stolen is only like $500. So yeah, you suck, hacker. All right, so just be very careful with the people you interact, especially in crypto. Always have a skeptical mind when you're in crypto. Even though the North Korean group is really strong, 90% of these breaches start with phishing. So human error is still the biggest entry point. Some of these success cases for from these like North Korean hacks is, okay, the biggest one is Bybit. So it happened just a few months ago, back in February this year. The North Korean stole $1.5 billion in ETH from Bybit. That is through phishing as well. So wallet vulnerabilities and phishing and cross-chain laundering after getting the money. Bybit recovers some of that money, but $300 million is gone. And then there are other cases like the Ronin Bridge that is related to Axie Infinity that happened in March 2022. $625 million being stolen via compromised validated keys. So a classic example of a bridge exploit. Same thing happened to Bangladesh. So there's a Bangladesh bank heist in 2016. An attempted thief of $1 billion via SWIFT. The hacker still managed to steal $81 million, so that's pretty good. Another one is Sony Pictures. That is back in 2014. So the North Korean hacked into the Sony system, leaked some of the films and emails and wiping the systems. That's why we got the retaliation for the movie, The Interview. That's pretty interesting. So I do see a shift for this group or the North Korean. They are shifting from like a political disruption for like government or like group like Sony, massive company, to targeting money, like the financial aspect, because there's a lot of money being made in crypto. And now about half of the global crypto hacks is being done by North Korean. So all I'm saying here is that be extremely careful, have a skeptical mind if you are in crypto. And then also use a cold wallet, use 2FA for your social media accounts. I'm speaking from personal experience because my ex got hacked. Just literally happened 2 weeks ago. I did turn on 2FA for my Twitter account, but I only chose the phone verification. So yeah, one thing I learned is that 2FA is good, but always opt for Google Authenticator. That is so far the highest security. I haven't heard any cases that hackers managed to hack into Google Authenticator, but as for phone verification and email verification, the hackers still managed to hack through it. Yeah, so be careful and always use a cold wallet. My MetaMask got drained as well 2 weeks ago, so 15K being stolen from my MetaMask. However, like cold wallets, of course, is offline, so a majority of my money is still with cold wallets, still inside cold wallet, so I'm protected there. So if you guys are in crypto or in Bitcoin, make sure you have a cold wallet. Security is very important. If you don't have a cold wallet, make sure to purchase one. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're watching this video right now. Like, yeah, stop the video and purchase one. My go-to is GemGem right now because it's so easy to use. Like if you guys want a discount code, you can use GemGem10 for your GemGem card. All right, so let's go on to something more chill to wrap up this show. All right, what we've got here, we've got the new iPhone. All right, so Apple unveiled the new iPhone. So iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 Pro, and iPhone 17 Pro Max. It's already released. However, it's only like pre-orders only. It will be released on 19th of September. Why I'm talking about this? Because of this new orange color. Like I'm a big fan of this color. It's like the Bitcoin color, right? Like let me know, chat, if you like this color or not. I'm a big fan of this actually. However, speaking of the interior, so what does it do? Like, okay, we are on iPhone 17, but is that actual upgrade from the Apple team? Well, obviously we'll get like a better camera, brighter screen. Thank you so much, and also a faster chip. So, like a faster chip is only useful if you are a gamer, like you use your iPhone to game a lot, or you're a content creator, like you do some editing on the phone, then a faster chip will help. But like for average folks using an iPhone, yeah, I haven't seen any wow factor from Apple for a very long time. Yeah, mostly when I see updates from Apple, it's all about, okay, have you seen the cameras? It's like the best camera so far. Yeah, I mean, that's impressive, but what more? Well, okay, I use Apple because I like the security. But other than that, yeah, I mean, there are better options out there. As for Apple's AI strategy, it's like, I would say, one of the weakest point if you compare Apple to other options, like other AI companies like Google or Meta. The Apple Intelligence, so the generative AI suite for Siri, mail, messages, like some offline models, yeah, it's actually really weak. Yeah, it even like barely being mentioned at the iPhone 17 event, still beta. Like if you compare to Google Gemini, like Apple feels like 2 or 3 years behind. Gemini is like deeply integrated, and if you look at even Meta, like Meta got the own LM model, the Llama model, constantly pushing for like better, like open source. But Apple, like it stays close. Seriously, I don't know what Apple's doing. Apple wins on privacy, but lose on the wow factor and also the AI crowd. Okay, for sure, I'm very excited about this new color, this Bitcoin color. Yeah, I think it looks really good. Let me know, chat, if you guys would get this new iPhone. But again, inside the system is the same every single year. All right, so that's all I've got for today's stream. Wait, where is it? Okay, that's all I've got for today's stream. Obviously, this is my first time going live on Roxom, so if you guys have any feedback, what sort of news that you want to see more, okay, some of you guys really like chart analysis, like doing TA, please just let me know. I really appreciate as much feedback as I could because I want to improve the show for you guys. And other than that, like make sure to tune in. My show is going to be 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hong Kong time, which means 5 a.m. Eastern time for you guys. So yeah, make sure to subscribe. Stay cool, stay safe, and also, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.